And the Masters of the Universe.
That sounded pretty bloody awesome, didn't it? Well, that is about all the awesome you are going to get, because I am reviewing Masters of the Universe Revelation today. And while there is a little awesome, if you dig deeply, it isn't going to jump out at you and dance a jig. Well, maybe it is. Before I begin, please consider subscribing, as that would really help me out. And if you like this content, leave a like, and maybe consider giving it a share. Okay, on with the video. Kevin Smith has spent a lot of time crying and attacking Clownfish TV and telling everyone that they are lying and have no idea what they are talking about, because they have reported on the rumour that this was the Teela show, and that He-Man was just a side note. Did I say rumour? They put it in the bloody official synopsis. In the official synopsis. And so, here we are, it is finally out, and we can take a look and see what is truth, and what is Kevin Smith lying between his teeth and trying to obfuscate, until the tears flow and we all drown in his shame. The intro artwork was beautiful, and the first episode actually starts out okay. I was extremely unimpressed by all the puns.
The palace is under attack!
It's just fireworks. Take it from someone who's seen battle, cat.
Teela, you look like a warrior goddess.
I have the power.
As I felt they were laughing at the fans, but at least it kind of looked right. The animation is on the whole pretty darn good. The dialogue was stultifying and almost painful to listen to, which nearly put me off immediately. It was just so clunky and dumb, it made the original series seem like Shakespeare. It opens with a big party because Teela, the captain of the Royal Guard, which is an impressive position, but apparently not enough for Teela, as she is getting knighted as Man-at-Arms, the Man-at-Arms. So does that mean that Man-at-Arms is no longer Man-at-Arms? Is he retiring? He can't be more than 45 or 50, and since this series is a direct continuation of the original series, that means Teela is about 21, and Adam is as ever 18, although he looks more like 14 compared with everyone else. There is no explanation given for what this was all about, and it's quickly forgotten because Grayskull is attacked by Skeletor. At this point, you'd have thought that they would have people keeping an eye on Snake Mountain, but no, the whole of Skeletor's army hoves up in front of Castle Grayskull and starts attacking, while Skeletor, who has managed to trick his way into Grayskull along with Evil Lyn, is busily monologuing using the voice of the Joker to the sorceress about how he has realised that Grayskull is not important. Instead, the key to its power is a glowing magic pearl hidden within. Then we get the majority of the good battle footage that was shown in the trailers, as He-Man turns up with the other Masters of the Universe, who we will not see again in Part 1 because they are mostly white men and therefore not wanted. Skeletor and He-Man battle, and Skeletor kills Mossman, voiced by the great Alan Oppenheimer, the original voice of Skeletor, yet they chose not to have him reprise the role. Instead, we got Mark Hamill doing his Joker voice. I really don't understand this decision at all. Skeletor then breaks the power orb, that is the source of Eternia's magic, and He-Man uses his sword to stop a magic explosion, then tears it in half, which saves the world, but in doing so he transforms back into Adam in front of Teela. Then he and Skeletor disappear, apparently killed. He-Man's effort to save Eternia fails, in that all the magic is now leaking away and leaving Eternia dying. The Sword of Power's two halves have now been sent to Subternia, the land of the dead, and Preternia, the place heroes go when they die. Man-at-Arms then has to break the sad news to King Randor and Queen Marlena that Adam was He-Man and that he has died. King Randor, in a rage, then banishes Man-at-Arms in disgrace. Teela, meanwhile, on discovering that Adam had been He-Man all along, in a fit of righteous indignation at her friends trying to protect her and everyone else by keeping as few people in the know about He-Man as possible, decides she hates magic and lies and goes off in a huff. And that is the end of episode 1, and He-Man's involvement with this first part of the series, because while he does appear again in a couple of flashbacks, he is no longer a protagonist of the show. Instead, those reins are handed to the greatest everestest, Teela, who from now on is the most important character, and can do no wrong, even when she is being a bitch to her own father. Skip forward some unknown amount of time, and Teela, who the program will now focus on, still hates magic, and is now going about stealing things that other people pay her to get. They actually say stealing things, not retrieving, which seemed rather an interesting use of words. She has now acquired a muscular, unattractive man bod, and a bestest friend who is a race-swapped man-bodied Andra. Andra was a redhead, so of course they had to race-swap her. And they seem to have a very close relationship, nudge nudge, wink wink, say no more. In fairness, they do seem more like just friends. But this is woke programming 101, so you never know. Due to some evil in trickery, they go to Snake Mountain and end up in a confrontation with Triclops and Trapjaw, who have started a cult of technology since magic is no longer plentiful in Eternia. This whole event seems to have been contrived just to show off Tila and Andra's fighting ability, as they kick the asses of everyone in Snake Mountain. Afterward, they end up joining forces with Evil Lyn, who is working with the sorceress, who has now become very old, while nobody else has aged, to return magic to Eternia by finding the two parts of the Sword of Power and then reforging them into one and calling on the power of Greyskull, which will make everything back to normal. So, now off they go to find Man-at-Arms because they seem to have found the only thing Tila can't do herself, which is reforge He-Man's sword. First, Tila is like, "No, I'm still too upset to save the world, or I'd rather everybody die." But then Cringer reminds her that she fancies Adam? Okay, apparently even here they don't want to mention He-Man. So, off they all troop to find Man-at-Arms, and in the meantime have a nice bit of girl talk, in which Evil Lyn decries the dangers of getting involved with dangerous men, which surely means that there are very few options left on Eternia. Once they find Man-at-Arms, and Tila has bitched at him for a while, they pick up Orko, Beastman and Roboto along the way, but then get rid of Man-at-Arms because he's competent and white, all things that would have probably gotten this series defunded in Hollywood. Off he goes to look after the sorceress, while the rest of them head for Subternia, where they will find the first half of the sword, and Tila has to face her fears. But then she decides that she doesn't have any, so she gets the sword. Then Orko is killed because, as Kevin says, he hates this character and wanted to get rid of him, though he also gets the vaporized just disappears explosion type death, so maybe he will reappear later when part 2 is released, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Then they finally get to Preternia, where they meet Adam, who it turns out really is dead, and he says, "Oh yeah, here's the sword," and so Tila now has both halves of the sword, without having to break a sweat or make any discernible effort. In fact, you start to wonder what happened to this arduous, difficult journey she was supposed to be making to get everyone back together. All she does is turn up and get what she wants, whilst bitching at everyone for lying to her about He-Man. Roboto, who knows everything that Man-at-Arms knows, apparently, reforges the two blades back into one, but he dies in the process so that Kevin can no doubt get rid of another character that he thinks nobody cares about. And yes, Kevin Smith is a twat. Incidentally, we also meet Hero, who is being voiced by Phil Lamar of Samurai Jack fame, and he is very good. He sounds great. But Hero is white and Phil is black, so according to the crazies in Hollywood, he should never have been allowed to commit such sacrilege as to play a character of a different race. But it's okay, because as we know, this stuff only goes one way, so nothing to see here. And once Tila has finished bitching at Adam about how betrayed she feels, it is off to find a portal back to Eternia. To do this, they go and meet one of Adam's ancestors, King Greyskull, who is recognisable by having no physical resemblance to Adam and being a completely different race. Yes, that's right, they race-swapped King Greyskull, because when you are just insulting the fans, why not go the whole way and just screw with the past, present, and the future? King Greyskull tells Tila and Adam that it just so happens that there's a portal back to Eternia in his tower. In fact, it goes straight to Greyskull. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Simples. I was somewhat surprised that Tila didn't create the portal with the feminist power of getting whatever she wants, but maybe even Kevin Smith thought that was going a little too far. They all get ready to leave, when Adam decides he should go with them, and they arrive back in Greyskull just in time to help Man-at-Arms fight off Triclops' techno-cult, before they all head into Greyskull to fix the world. Adam then raises his magic sword and says, "By the power of Greyskull, I have the..." "Ah, shit, I've been stabbed by Skeletor." And then we discover that the Sword of Power isn't choosy as to who is using it, because Skeletor then takes the sword, says the magic words, and crowns himself Master of the Universe. Ta-da! The end! And then Tila shouts her war cry,
It is ma'am!
Kicks Skeletor's ass and walks off into the sunset with Andra. Okay, I might have made that last bit up, but until we see what Kevin Smith has done, I think it's pretty close to what he's going to come up with. Jokes aside, at least I hope that was a joke, the series really was terrible. It was badly written, badly voiced for the most part, although there were a few standout voice roles. Evil Lynn was voiced very well and was actually an interesting character. Man at Arms was fantastically voiced and was really cool to watch too, as he got all the decent fight scenes. And Hero was very well voiced by Phil Lamar, though his part was tiny. As for the rest, I just didn't find them very comfortable to listen to. They all sounded slightly off. Maybe I could eventually get used to them, but with a story like this, I just don't think I want to. So in the end, they killed He-Man twice. Once as He-Man, and then for the full set, once as Adam. I can't be sure what was going through the writers' minds when they wrote this, but one thing I am certain of, it wasn't, let's make something great for the fans. Kevin Smith just seems like a grifter at this point, someone who will do anything to be seen as relevant and to get those Hollywood dollars. I really want to give Part 2 the benefit of the doubt, but I did that already with Part 1 and it was nothing but a letdown. The only credit I can give is that I did like some of the toy references, like the pit in front of Snake Mountain. Other than that, this really isn't worth your time. We all have better things to do than watch someone laugh while they tear your childhood into strips and piss all over the remains. This has been Movie Suck warning you that nothing is sacred anymore. The woke and the morally bankrupt are coming for everything we hold dear, and they will not be satisfied until they drag everyone down to the sewers they dwell in. We need to stand firm as a bulwark against their insipid, sickening pestilence. Eventually everyone will see them for what they truly are. Signing out. Leave a like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the flip side.